some years ago you've been starring in a movie called Some Kind of Monster. If there was a sequel, what would be the title?
Some Kind of Monster would be, oh, some kind of recovery, I guess, or I don't know. I would say new kind of monster. You know, I think we've created a new life after death type of feel. I think that Saint Anger, all of that was a chapter that has closed, and it feels like it was very cleansing. And it really, it had to happen, we understand that. But it was difficult, very difficult, and it felt like a near-death experience for Metallica. And I think we have like extra life now because of that. I feel that all the things I've understood about the near-death experience, when you finally realize what things you do have, the gratitude you need to show for them, you become extra alive. And I think that's where we are right now.
So you're so very alive. I heard the record. Congratulations, it's a great record, I think.
Thank you.
But it's titled Death Magnetic. So how does this go together, this feeling of being so alive?
Well, I think the concept of Death Magnetic, 2 years of writing songs and trying to have lyrics from the very beginning so we can mold the songs around the phrasings or, vocals being an important instrument. Going through lots of different concepts and phases in 2 years, thought process, what I'm influenced by. One of the things was, working with Rick Rubin, I started to rediscover Johnny Cash. And I saw an interview with Johnny about his actual near-death experience, where he saw the light and the tunnel and everything. And the way he described it was powerful. And when he came back, he had this new love of life and an intensity around it. And nothing else got in the way of that. Things were not important except those things. And I somewhat connected with that because of Metallica almost disappearing or disintegrating. So, death in a new light. Death is not a new subject for us. But the way we're writing about it now, or the way I'm perceiving it, is the positive side, maybe, of death, or maybe death is not the end. Getting close to death does things to people. Death Magnetic was chosen out of just a set of lyrics as the title, because it seemed to thread all these songs together. And Death Magnetic, the two words together are interesting. That, a magnet has the pull. Why are some people drawn towards it? Why do people leave us earlier? Certain people in rock and roll, even in our generation, have been drawn towards it. Overdosing on drugs or whatever it may be. And then the other side of that, the pushing away, the other side of the magnet pushes away. And to me, it was interesting that a lot of people, especially in my growing up, my religion, not a lot of talk about after someone died. There was no funeral, there was no anything. It was just, they were gone. No grieving. There was not a lot of talk about death. Even when You know, one of our 3 cats was all of a sudden not there anymore. Dad, what happened? Oh, she ran away, you know. Yeah, ran away into the backyard under some dirt. But not a lot of talk about it. So the fear of death, or the not wanting to talk about it, even when you're in a room where, like, my mom was passing away in front of us, there was no talk about it. The big white elephant in the room, no one wants to speak about it, at least in my upbringing, or in America a lot. So the 2 sides of that, it seemed pretty interesting.
Death, of course, is a constant theme in your lyrics. Do you feel an attraction by death?
I think there's both. I think the attraction, getting to the edge of life, feeling alive by fear of death, wanting to have the adrenaline hit all the time. It became addicting, and obviously some of the antics on the road, you know, I certainly could have died many times, and I think everyone can share that somewhat as a universal feeling. Oh, that time when the red light was red or something, but there's always something that was close. And I think also just the fear of death. What is going to happen? Why? I have a need to know, a need to control it, but I don't think I want to know. It's just a constant kind of battle for me, being okay with it and then not being okay with it, back and forth.
I think in a way you're such a tough guy. You're going hunting, you're doing driving with a shopper, and perhaps do you have the feeling that many years you lived up to some kind of rock and roll cliche, or is this?
Absolutely. I think no secret that the James Hetfield on stage is what I would like to be, but I'm not. I'm not that all the time. I think it's less of a conscious effort to portray an image, because I think the music really does something to the 4 of us when we play it. We go to another level. We make faces that we don't normally make. We sweat more. We move differently. We're on a different plane. And when there's an audience out there, like at Rock 'em Ring or wherever, it pushes you higher. You're pushing each other to new, it's like you're in the Olympics. You go past where you just were, you know. But also I think that trying to take that image off stage, and you know, I like bikes, I like cars, I like driving fast. But yeah, there's always a soft side to everyone. Pretending that there isn't is a problem, and I think that's where I was. Not wanting to be vulnerable ever again after being hurt so many times. Or, you know, I'll always leave the girlfriend because I was hurt once, or, you know, that kind of feel. Obviously, Some Kind of Monster has shown a different side to Metallica. And I think that is stronger. You know, exposing your weaknesses is a pretty strong move.
Was the alcohol some kind of escape?
Absolutely. Alcohol was, ever since my mother died, that became more of a part of me. Alcohol at age 13, 16, it became, you know, it starts off as the cliche, hey, I feel more alive. I feel looser. I feel more comfortable. I can talk to women. I can, get on stage and all of this. It was kind of the fog. I was already in somewhat of a fog, and that helped it be more fun. And then the typical story of starting to need it. And then it became just like this maintenance. And it was a constant fog, and a lot of